Greetings once again from quarantine, everybody. I'm wearing my Frontstretch polo, but Dustin's got on some proper attire for today. There you see it. It's the Jordan brand logo because, man, oh man, Dustin, some bombshell news broke last night. We kind of saw it coming, but it's official now. Michael frickin' Jordan is a team owner in NASCAR. How do you like that?
Yeah, I came dressed for the occasion, as you can see. I collect Jordan stuff, so this is a big day. But for the sport, it's also huge. And like you said, we knew it was kind of coming. I had first heard about this 6 weeks ago yesterday. So it's been a month and a half in the process, at least, internally in the sport. But I think even more so, this is Denny said in a statement that this is something that him and Jordan had talked about while golfing in the past. So, yeah, it's monumental. First African-American primary team owner in, 50 years? That's huge.
How big do you think this realistically is, looking 5, 10, 15, 20, 30 years down the road for NASCAR? Because there's one thing to have star power involved. Like, I get that. This isn't even superstar power. This is like worldwide, unbelievable. Everybody in the world knows who Michael Jordan is. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And there's not many people like that. I mean, it's like Michael Jordan and Oprah. That's the list. And I don't think Oprah is going to own a NASCAR team anytime soon. So when we're talking into the future, and who knows if MJ is going to still be doing this in 30 years, but I mean, I don't think we can overstate how big this really is for NASCAR as a whole and motorsports in general.
Yeah, definitely. And he's been a race fan, he said, his whole, most of his life.
Yeah, he went as a kid.
Spent a lot of time in North Carolina. So the interest has always been there. He's 57. Hamlin's about to turn 40. And I think Denny Hamlin's a key part of this too, because it's setting himself post-driving career, whenever that comes. So, I don't think we can really gauge how big this truly is. Because obviously the team's going to need to succeed, and I'm sure it will. It's Michael Jordan, the GOAT.
Got to.
The most competitive person probably ever created. Yeah. So, it has to succeed. And I would imagine you can't gauge it, though, because there's so many unknowns still.
I also want to touch on Germain Racing leaving at the end of the year, because that's something that's being super overshadowed, deservedly so with this announcement. But Bob Germain's been in the sport for a long time. For those that don't really remember, I mean, he won truck championships with Todd Bodine back in the day when he was driving that 30 truck. And then he made the leap to the Cup Series and has had Geico with him the entire time, had Casey Mears there for a little bit, and as of late with Ty Dillon. But it's kind of a catch-22. It's like, well, you got this amazing news of Michael Jordan coming into ownership, but yet you have another small team that's a mid-pack organization that is leaving the sport. That's Furniture Row, Germain. We just still don't know what's going on with Gaunt Brothers. We think they're probably going to stay. But you also had Levine Family Racing this year. It's becoming a problem, and I think it's at the point now where you can say that it's a systemic problem. And I don't know how to handle that because there's so much positivity with MJ, and then it's being overshadowed by Germain leaving. But I still think that's worth talking about because Germain's been in the sport for a while, and this is another example of a smaller team leaving, and that's not good.
Yeah, absolutely. You're spot on there. And I talked to Ty Dillon last Thursday, and the article came out Sunday night on Frontstretch. And, he was very vocal going into the Dover race weekend about kind of where the smaller teams are at right now. And like you said, Furniture Row leaves the year after they won the championship with Martin Truex Jr. Then this year alone, you got Levine Family Racing leaving, Germain leaving. And I think a lot of it this year probably has to do with the pandemic and, I mean, they're going to get all the races in, but the sponsors, it's just, they don't have the activation there. Mm-hmm. It's a tough deal. And so with Germain, he's given a lot of years to the sport, a lot of money, a lot of time, a lot of dedication. So it's definitely a tough deal. And like you said, it's getting overshadowed, which it would with Michael Jordan entering the sport.
It should.
Yeah. But I'm sure it's frustrating for him, and the cost has just gone so high. And the hope is that in 2022, the next gen car will reduce the costs. It'll be a high initial cost, but we'll see how it goes. And hopefully, no more single car teams are gone in the foreseeable future.
Yeah, I'm unfortunately getting a bit numb and tired of seeing all these single car teams just leave the sport, because that's kind of the lifeblood, and that's what makes the sport go. Let's hit on one more thing with the MJ and Denny team. We didn't even mention their driver, Bubba Wallace. So we obviously knew that was going to be the case with all the rumors that we saw and the speculation that we saw for, as you said, the past month and a half or so. But this is one of the main reasons that Bubba decided to leave RPM, was because he felt that he could position himself better long-term competitive-wise for years to come. And it appears that he's going to be able to do that because this new team, which, by the way, I think it has to be named His Airness or Air Jordan Racing or something. It's just too good to be true. But they're going to have a technical alliance with JGR, so Shades of Furniture Row Racing, and it's a multi-year deal for Bubba as the driver. How competitive do we think that they'll be right off the bat in 2021, and then in 2022 and beyond with the next-gen car coming into the fold? Do we think that this team could rival what Furniture Row Racing did? Obviously, there's a lot of pieces to be put in place with crew chiefs, engineers, equipment. I get that. But we know that Bubba has the talent. We've seen that. Do we think that he can prove all those other haters wrong that are in the comments saying, oh, this is going to be nothing good for your career, Bubba? I think in time it's really quite possible.
I think it is too. And if you think back to Furniture Row, they came over to Toyota in 2016 for the first time, right? Yeah, 2016. And they were pretty successful right off the bat. Obviously, 3 years there, won the championship in the second year. And so with Bubba, he's been in the Joe Gibbs Racing before. We got to remember that. He was once a development driver there. And he's bringing $18 to $20 million reportedly to the team. That's a ton of money, probably more than Furniture Row ever had.
Which, by the way, Michael Jordan has a net worth of over $1 billion, so they're not going to be strapped for cash.
Yeah. And I was going to say, plus you got Michael Jordan. So, yeah, I think this team's going to be set up pretty well, and who knows for how long. Excuse me, like you said earlier, it's hard to gauge how this team's going to do right off the bat, but I would say it's going to be fairly competitive.
I think that they're going to be okay to start off. I think it's going to be maybe not growing pains, but it's a new team. They're coming into their own. Even though you have Denny Hamlin, who's going to be leading things as a minority partner, there's still going to be a lot of things to be ironed out with this new race team, as there are for anything. But I think when you get to the next gen car and then looking at 2022, 2023, I think this could probably be a team that could contend for top 10s weekly and eventually race wins. And again, there's going to be people that are going to be moving and shaking, retiring, leaving, coming up from Xfinity, all these things. But it is going to be very, very fun to see this play out in the future. And hey, who knows? I mean, maybe when we get back to the racetrack, you can have MJ sign one of your Jordans, because I know you got a ton.
Look me up, MJ.
Yeah, right. Let's talk real briefly about the round of 12 kicks off this weekend in Las Vegas. We obviously had William Byron be eliminated. Cole Custer, he's out. Matt DiBenedetto and Ryan Blaney. Kyle Busch said on the post-race Zoom, and I was just literally laughing as he was at his entire availability. Well, we'll be eliminated next round, so don't care. Kyle, I don't think you should be that negative, because, frankly, the results that you've had in this first round and for the second half of the regular season were pretty stout. So even if he doesn't win a race, I think he's still looking at that consistency that can make him transfer to the round of 8. What do you think we're going to be seeing at the opener in Las Vegas, though?
Opener in Las Vegas. I think Penske will be good. I think Gibbs will be good. Harvick will definitely be good. Penske and Truex have really been the kind of dominators of the past couple of years. But, as far as Kyle, I expect him to run well at Vegas. And I agree with you on the negativity aspect. He has been solid this year. Obviously doesn't have the win. And so I think that was just, pure out of frustration the other night because he finished second. He's more frustrated finishing second than he finishes 15th. That's just Kyle Busch for you and the competitive nature he has. So the fact he hasn't won, and there's only 7 races to go now, chances, time's running out to get that 16th straight year of a victory. I think that's where that came from. But I expect him to get a win before the year's out. In this round, though, if we're thinking about it, you got Vegas, you got Talladega, and the Roval. It's a pretty challenging round.
It is, and I think that's part of his frustration, because he knows that Bristol was probably his best chance statistically to get that victory. And now with a lot of unpredictability in this round and then moving forward, the cream is going to only rise further to the top. That's probably where some of that frustration came out. Dustin, what are you working on this week for Frontstretch? I know later today we have Xfinity Series Media Day. You're talking to all your homies. I'm sure there'll be lots of content on the website for everybody to peruse.
Yeah, we got the Frontstretch podcast coming out later this morning, so probably by the time this even comes out, it's with Noah Gragson kind of previewing the Xfinity Series playoffs. And then also on Thursday, Thursday morning, a piece on the Xfinity Series playoffs will come out, kind of previewing that as well. So big week for the Xfinity Series, as you know, all three series are now in the midst of their playoffs.
Keep it locked to frontstretch.com for all your information. Support us on Patreon. Follow us on all the different social media accounts. That is Dustin. I am Davey. We'll talk to you guys later. Maybe another team owner. Who knows? Probably not as big as MJ, though.